All right, the next lesson we are going to be doing is called the cardboard relief lesson. And in your supply packs, you will find, let's see, you will find several cardboard boxes inside the supply pack. I've got cereal boxes that I put in there for you. In addition to the cereal boxes, you will also find a piece of poster board, and it's probably the largest piece of poster board that's in there. You'll see other watercolor papers and things, but you want the poster board, which is 11 by 14. So the 11 by 14 poster board and then 2 cereal boxes is what you should find. And those are what you're going to use to do this project. It's talking about cardboard relief. It says a relief is a sculpted artwork in which figures are either carved into a level or plane. More typically, the plane is removed to create images sculpted into its own surface without completely disconnecting them from the plane. The best way that I can describe what a relief is like a quarter. If you look at the face of a quarter, you've got levels that are up and down, and it makes a picture that kind of bumps out and sticks up from that original surface. That is what a relief is. There are 3 basic forms of relief sculpture. There's a bas relief, which is a low relief. There's not a lot of levels. Then there is this alto relevo, that is a high relief. So it's a lot of levels, things sticking way out of the original surface. And then an intaglio, which is a sunken relief. Relief sculpture has a notable history back to over 20,000 years ago in both Eastern and Western cultures. Generally, relief figures are backwards and sculpted from the same material, but there are a few exceptions. What we are going to be creating is called a cardboard relief. So I'm going to have you guys use different levels of cardboard stacked on top of each other to create a picture, and it's going to kind of pop out of that original surface. So I've given you a few examples of here. You can do landscapes, you can do portraits, you can also do animals. So those are the 3 options that I'm giving you guys. Also a cityscape might be kind of cool. The vocabulary, we've already kind of touched on some of this. A relief sculpture is a sculpture that projects from a flat surface and can only be viewed from 2 sides, like a wall hanging. The bas relief is a relief sculpture that has very low depth. Think of that like a quarter. Sculpture in the round, sculpture that can be viewed from all sides. That's the opposite of what we're doing. The alto relevo is very high relief with lots of depth. The intaglio is the sunken relief. And the assemblage is putting materials together to form a sculpture, which is essentially what we're doing. You're going to need a whole ton of supplies: scissors, cereal boxes, corrugated cardboard, which is optional. So if you've got like a box where your parents got something delivered to the house and you can rip that box up, go ahead and pull that in. We can use it for this project. Elmer's glue, you want the Elmer's glue that's in a bottle because you're going to need something pretty thick and sticky to get this to stay together. Pencils, paper plate, a heavy book, and all the heavy book is for is just to kind of press your cardboard once you get it glued together. A ruler, poster board backing, which is 11 by 14, paint brushes, tempera paint, a water cup, and paper towels. So some of this will be painted. So your steps for creating this is begin by sketching out ideas of your relief. You can choose to do any landscape, portrait, animal, or cityscape. The only requirements that I have is that it has a background, so make sure that it's not a floating object on the paper. Make a decision as to what shapes will fall furthest back and which will be the closest to the viewer. Think of this as a stack of books. Larger, wider books go on the bottom, and then they gradually get smaller, kind of like a pyramid. Okay. Also, make a decision about which areas you will choose to show texture, if any. I'm not requiring that you show texture. I think it's going to be kind of cool. If you do have corrugated cardboard, that's where your texture is going to come in. Let's see. Begin drawing shapes to cut out on your cardboard. The brown or white side is the side that will be face up in your finished project. Be conservative with the cardboard so you don't run out. But if you do run out or need more, you can always just, go through your pantry cabinet and see if you can find a box, an empty box for cereal, pasta, granola bars, any of that kind of stuff. Those boxes are all about the same. Let's see. Cut your pieces and arrange them in stacks. To create depth in areas on your composition, you must have at least 3 different levels. So what I'm saying when I say 3 different levels is I want one level here, one level maybe below it, and then one way above it. So 3 different heights, okay? Expose texture at this point if you had planned to do that. Glue pieces down one on top of another until your picture is complete. Let it dry under a heavy book to keep it flat. Determine which areas need color. Paint those spaces very carefully with paint. Understand that there is no way to remove the paint once it's put on. Let it dry and complete the critique sheet at the end. I am grading you guys on your subject matter that you chose, your 3 different levels, your painting technique, your overall execution, creativity, craftsmanship, and the critique sheet. And as far as submission is concerned, I'd like you to write your name on the front of the critique sheet, the front of the project, and then photograph the project from the front from its best side and photograph your critique sheet as well. Upload all 3 to the proper assignment on Google Classroom.